climate sustainability and equity in energy policy. A startup trade association wants to support tribes through its work, plus land rights and changes to gaming. How are tribes preparing for the future? I'm Mackenzie Allen Charmley. Join us for those interviews plus headlines from the ICT Newscast.
This program is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people.
Arizona State University welcomes 3,500 Indigenous students from Arizona and across the nation. It serves one of the largest populations of Indigenous students among U.S. colleges and universities. We created a sense of place for tribal nations to create futures of their own making through community outreach and research, taught by world-class Indigenous faculty where they see a reflection of themselves and their experiences. Find community at ASU.
Chinangale, we're so glad you could join us. This is an era of divided government. Republicans control the House of Representatives and the Democrats run the Senate and the White House. On a practical level, there are constant debates over priorities ranging from energy and climate change to how the federal government spends money. ICT's Mark Trahan has the details on how the two parties see the deficit, and the outcome could have significant impact on programs that serve Indigenous communities.
Last week marked 100 days since the Republicans took control over the House of Representatives. And one potentially catastrophic issue that must be addressed is the debt limit for the United States. This is like a credit card limit that Congress sets for itself. As soon as June, the United States will run out of time and be in default on its loans. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy said last week that the Republicans will only agree to raise the debt limit if the legislation also includes sharp reductions in federal spending, taking back money that was appropriated in the Inflation Reduction Act in the last Congress and returning the budget to 2022 levels. It's important to remember that American Indians and Alaska Native programs represent a tiny fraction, far less than 1% of the overall federal budget. Rolling back that budget to 2022 levels will have an impact on programs such as the Indian Health Service. The GOP plan would meet a cut of at least $327 million for that agency. And that's just a start. On top of that, there will be cuts to new spending for behavioral health, urban programs, and the House proposal would add new work requirements for Medicaid funding. The Department of Interior would also face sharp reductions in people and services, including firefighters, as the summer fire season begins. Last week, Secretary Deb Haaland told the House about other impacts.
Of all the issues that tribes bring to us, law enforcement is one of the top issues. If the budget cuts go through, we could lose 1,500 tribal law enforcement personnel, and it could also lead to 500 fewer teachers. There would also be delay in BIE school repairs and the building of schools.
The House will take up its deficit proposal this week. Police in South Dakota are under scrutiny after a man in their custody died. Robert Dennis Berta Enoch, a citizen of the Sisseton Wahpeton Sioux tribe, died while in police custody, yet no cause of death has been published. Enoch was detained by the Charles Mix County Sheriff's Department for disorderly conduct and for violating parole. He was jailed in Lake Andes and was later discovered unresponsive. It is currently unclear how long Enoch was in custody before being transported to medical care. The death certificate notes Wagner Community Memorial Hospital as the location of death. His family believes he died neglectfully in jail prior. The cause of death and the location are currently being investigated by the state. Land back. It's a goal. It's an ideal. It's a movement. And now it's a podcast. The Indian Collective is bringing stories from the front lines to earbuds near you. Its first episode drops today. ICT's Stuart Huntington has more.
Nick Tilson grew up in the American Indian movement and tries, through his efforts at the Indian Collective, to build on the work of those that went before. Telling stories is part of that work.
We decided to launch the Land Back for the People podcast because it was a recognition that like the land back movement is like the red power movement of our generation. And we have to continue when we're in these movements in the time of rapid change, we have to continue to articulate, what this movement's about.
Future topics will include reclaiming indigenous lifeways, rebuilding indigenous economies, and of course, getting native land back. But for the first episode, it had to be Madonna Thunderhawk.
Madonna has been at almost every single indigenous resistance struggle in this part of the world for the past 50, 60 years. And she's one of the matriarchs of the movement.
And she's happy to spread the word.
If it's going to touch Indian country, then I'm in. I'm hopefully, and it's just, it's an update, but it's also our history, our own history that we are documenting ourselves. What I'm doing is continuing what I learned, what my elders did when I was young. They showed up, they had our back, they let us know that what we were doing was right. So that's my as a responsibility, that's what I do now as an elder. I support the young people that are continuing this struggle.
This is an intergenerational movement that has been passed down from, generation to generation. We didn't discover this. In fact, quite frankly, it was instilled in us. And so having a podcast that can weave in and out of the generations and all the contributions that our different generations are making to the movement of the times that we're in.
In Minneapolis, Minnesota, Stuart Huntington, ICT News.
The Land Back for the People podcast can be found wherever you get your podcasts. In New Mexico, a new executive director has been appointed to the Southwestern Association for Indian Arts. Jamie Scholes of Northern Cheyenne and Sisseton Wahpeton Oyate tribes has officially accepted the position. She has served as the acting director since October. The leadership switch comes after the abrupt departure of previous director Kim Peone. Jamie was the SWIA membership and volunteer coordinator prior to being promoted to operation director in mid-2021. The association's board says it realized the extent of Scholes' talents while she was the interim director. During that time, she successfully completed overdue state audits and worked to improve relations with the area's art community. SWIA hosts prominent events celebrating Indigenous art like the Santa Fe Indian Market, which draws nearly 100,000 people and showcases hundreds of artists representing 250 tribes. Scholes is currently working on expanding the organization's e-commerce footprint. Plans include launching a new online marketplace in June named Indigenous Collections. And those are the headlines for the ICT Newscast. Sovereignty is a simple yet very complex issue for the 574 federally recognized tribes in the United States, and the rights of tribes to protect its children are on the line, as the Supreme Court is expected to rule soon over who can parent a Native American child. Derrick Beetso is a citizen of the Navajo Nation. He's the director of the Indian Gaming and Tribal Self-Governance programs at the Sandra Day O'Connor College of Law at Arizona State University. He was general counsel of the National Congress of American Indians and a former co-director of the Supreme Court Tribal Project. He's also a board member of ICT's parent company, Indig Public Media. Hi, Derrick.
Good morning, Yat and Mackenzie. Appreciate you guys having me on today.
It's great to have you here. To start, with the Supreme Court's decision on ICWA looming, what other actions are tribal leaders expecting the court to take that will impact them?
Right now, we have a handful of cases that are before the Supreme Court. You mentioned the Indian Child Welfare Act case. I think tribes are watching that very closely. Yes, it does deal with how child welfare will be handled on the ground in states, but there are larger issues with respect to tribal governments and their status under federal law that are potentially at play. With that, we have relatively 4 new justices, if you go back to Justice Neil Gorsuch, that are on the court, and several of them are fairly newer to the court, including Justice Amy Berry Coet and Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson and Justice Kavanaugh. And so I think tribes are really trying to feel out those justices and how they look at the law, how they look at cases, and what resonates with them as a Supreme Court justice right now.
Switching gears, IGA met last month. What actions and recommendations came out from that meeting?
The IGA meeting in San Diego, I was unfortunately unable to attend, but I know what's always first and foremost on their agenda is making sure that tribes in the gaming sphere are well aware and equipped to handle the issues that are coming in front of them. Right now, we have a couple of potential regulatory changes that have been making their way through the Department of Interior since about last summer, and they finally went to final notice and rulemaking in the Federal Register in December of 2022. And I believe that at IGA, they talked a lot about the substantive changes that are potentially at play with these two regulations. One of them which squarely addresses Indian gaming, and another one which addresses Indian land. While not directly related to gaming, Indian land is very important for tribes that would like to game in the future, perhaps.
Legal issues in Arizona present some pretty unique challenges. Land and water rights have a history of contention, particularly with low water levels in the Colorado River basin. I want to know if you've seen any innovative efforts around protecting these rights.
Sure. I think the challenges with respect to how the Colorado River is administered, has been all over the news. Everybody knows that we're in an unprecedented drought right now, and there are a lot of states and local water users that have to face difficult decisions about what to do moving forward. We know one of our sister tribes here, the Gila River Indian community, just signed a huge agreement to help in this endeavor, and they will be helping ensure that more water stays in Lake Mead moving forward, which will make it more available for other water users in the region. This creates certainty for other water users, and it also shows, the importance that tribal governments can play in these discussions. On the outside looking in are a number of tribes that have yet to quantify their water rights to the Colorado River, but have legal rights under what's known as the winter doctrine to the Colorado River and other water resources in the lower basin, as you alluded to earlier. And so now, as we're facing a drought, where we have less water for all the water users that have firmed up their water rights, we have to figure out what to do with those tribes that might not have firmed up water rights, but nevertheless have water rights to the Colorado River. So I think all of these things are coming into play right now. Luckily, here in Arizona, in this region in general, we've had a pretty good winter, and we've had a pretty good monsoon season. So we have a wet year on the books, but we're going to need a lot more wet years moving forward in order to help combat this water shortage right now in the region. Appreciate the question.
To talk more about you've been a professor of law at ASU for a few years. I was hoping you could touch on the ASU's faculty and degree programs.
Sure. So I serve as a professor of practice and also director of the Indian Gaming and Tribal Self-Governance programs here at Arizona State University's College of Law. What we're really engaged in is trying to meet Indian country where they're at and where their education needs are. So part of what I do is I oversee what's called the Master's in Law Studies program, the MLS program, and the LLM program. And those are for individuals that might be professionals in their day-to-day job, but want to know a little bit more about the law, but aren't necessarily interested in practicing law as a career. And so they can get degrees that help them understand more about environmental law, human resources law, or federal Indian law and tribal self-governance. I also teach classes for the JD program, and this is kind of what your average American thinks of when they think of a law school. Those individuals that go to law school to practice and actually carry out the law in courtrooms and otherwise. I teach Indian tax and Indian gaming. And so we're proud to have an Indian legal program that's been, working towards this since at least the 1980s. We have a large Native American student body and an awesome Native faculty as well to carry out, our day-to-day affairs and our mission. So appreciate that question as well.
Well, Derrick, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Mackenzie.
The The National Intertribal Energy Council is a new trade association. It is dedicated to advancing tribal energy policies, investment opportunities, and business for tribes and Alaska Native villages and corporations. ICT's Shirley Sneve interviewed its executive director at the Reservation Economic Summit in Las Vegas. Deschene is a former director of the U.S. Department of Energy Office of Indian Energy. He is a Marine veteran and a former Arizona congressman. Take a look.
We're at the Res Conference here, and joining me is Deschene, and he's the Executive Director of the National Intertribal Energy Council. And thank you very much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. We're very happy to be here, and I look forward to our conversation.
What are you doing here at the Res Conference?
So here I am helping the National Intertribal Energy Council. I am the Executive Director, but also serve as one of the inaugural board members. And our purpose is to host a tribal energy hub or seminar of specific tribal energy topics within Res 23.
Boy, that's a tall order. I mean, there's tribes all across the country that have their fingers in the energy business. What does the organization look like?
So we are a startup. We are nonprofit 501c6. Long story short, there was an absence of a national intertribal organization. And so we wanted, the founding board members wanted to provide a trade association organization. So we are like a chamber of commerce or any professional trade associations. So we have members and associate members. And with that, we have a number of priorities. A lot of them align with non-Indian interests, but for tribes, we're looking to address some things like energy development, capital and funding for tribal energy projects, and look at structuring both renewable and non-renewable energy projects. All of those are broad enough that they apply to all the tribes in the country, depending on their organic or internal resources.
So the Biden administration comes in and says that they're going to stop oil and gas production and that we're all going to go to green energy. And I think he gave a deadline, and I'm not sure we're going to meet that. But that makes that transition maybe a little bit of a rocky road.
So getting to green energy is a challenging effort. There's a lot of obstacles the industry has to overcome. One, when you say green, it has so many connotations to it. Some may say green is equal to net zero or carbon zero or carbon negative. Green means non-fossil. Green can be just hydrogen, or it could be applying to technologies that are being developed, say electrolyzers with the production of hydrogen itself again. And then new solar improvements on solar panels. So with regards to energy, I think, and tribal energy, what we're trying to do is support fundamental goals, and I'm sure we're going to get to these questions, of tribal sovereignty. Now, that's, a lot of people say that, but in energy, it breaks down to resiliency, security, and independence. Resiliency, because tribal lands are remote, distant, and often impacted by brownout or blackout. With regards to security, same thing. When a tribe is working in a grid and a provider is not providing reliable energy to the tribal community, and tribes have life-sustaining operations like a hospital, then some of the security issues related to power that's required 24/7 are in question. In terms of independence, a lot of people are making money out of energy, and tribes want economic engines, and energy projects can provide that depending on the size and scale of their project. So you put all those together with a comprehensive energy plan, the tribe then becomes and exercises the full strength of its sovereignty.
That was going to be one of my questions, is what does tribal sovereignty mean to you?
So I think tribal sovereignty is the right, for me, it's the right of the tribe to exercise its decisions, its affairs, for the benefit of its people. So in this case, energy sovereignty are the elements under these three key principles: resiliency, security, independence, so that the tribe now has, it has protected its natural resources. It has built the infrastructure to support any kind of economic activity, including an economy, but it also forces them to look at policies, laws, and regulations that affect how it's going to operate as an energy player. And then from that, with experience, it becomes an energy stakeholder. So all those are key pillars in supporting energy sovereignty and therefore their sovereignty. One last thing I mentioned, there are areas we call nexus industries. So energy water, energy agriculture, energy gaming. So let's talk with gaming. Gaming is a successful energy or a successful enterprise for tribes. Our friends at NIGA are doing great with the industry since NIGA, or the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act, came down the line. But they're also huge consumers of power. And if we're talking about sustainability, reducing our carbon footprint, reducing our power demand, and saving costs, you've got an energy, no offense to my gaming friends, but you got an energy hog there. So you can put energy systems like a microgrid, you can put a plan together that not only supports the gaming operations and facilities, but may support a larger community project that incorporates government buildings, schools, hospitals under a community now energy project, but with the footprint or the base being the gaming operations. So you put that together, and that nexus creates a model that now supports energy sovereignty.
Thank you for joining me, Chris Deschene. I'm appreciative of your time, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you. And there are opportunities for us to come back and share. I'm happy to do that. Just give me a call and I'll be back here as soon as I can.
A small First Nation in Canada is taking on the provincial government over what they are calling a colonial practice of granting mines access without consent. APTN's Tina House has the latest.
Leaders of the Kikatla Nation are in Vancouver to fight for their inherent Indigenous rights in Supreme Court. They oppose what they see as an archaic Mineral Tenure Act. With the click of a mouse and $25, anyone can buy a hectare of land at $1.75 per hectare for mining purposes. According to the Kikatla Nation, no consent or consultation is required with the nation, and no notification is sent saying that their traditional territory is being mined. West Coast environmental law lawyer Jessica Clogg says the act is unjust.
As if their inherent rights, their inherent title, their ayok, their laws did not exist. Gigatla says that this was a breach of the Crown's constitutional duties to Gigatla and did not align with the human rights standards set out in the UN Declaration, including the standard of free, prior, and informed consent.
Banks Island is located near Haida Gwaii and Prince Rupert. The Kikatla consider it within their traditional territory. Banks Island is the site of the Yellow Giant gold mine, which failed to get environmental assessment in 2015. The mine later went on to pollute toxic tailings in salmon-bearing water bodies around the island, leading to charges that forced them into bankruptcy. According to the chief counselor of the Kikatla Nation, Linda Ennis, the damage is still felt to this day.
Kikatla people have lived with the consequences of bad mining practices for years. Prospecting camps and mining operations polluting our lakes and salmon streams, impacting our resources, our medicine, and our people for generations to come.
And as the leaders of the Kikatla march down the street towards BC Supreme Court for their first day of hearings, many here are hopeful that the court will rule in their favor. Jamie Neen is with Mining Watch Canada. He says this is an important case that he also hopes will set precedent in how government should respect Indigenous rights and title.
We're hopeful that it will be a game changer, really. I mean, we're looking at something called free entry, which is the principle that mining can go anywhere it wants in the country. And that's been challenged in a number of jurisdictions, and it's been modified, shall we say, in the Northwest Territories, in Quebec and Ontario. It hasn't really been tackled in BC, and it certainly has not been brought up to the standard of free prior informed consent.
And for the next 2 weeks, the BC Supreme Court will hear from the Kikatla Nation. We'll keep you updated as this case evolves. Tina House, APTN National News, Vancouver.
And that's a slice of our Indigenous world. For all the latest, visit ictnews.org. From all of us in the newsroom, stay safe, my relatives.
This program is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people.